Hello class, today we're going to start on a drawing of a bubble. All right, so I recommend a pencil sharpener because colored pencils, most of you may have noticed, break really easy because they've got wax in the lead. They're almost like pencil crayons. So it might be helpful to have a sharpener. I do have the 4 electric sharpeners, but it'll save you a trip from having to jump up and go to those. You will need a lid from a Clorox bottle to trace and a black quarter-size sheet of paper that I have prepared for you. All right, so basically the first thing you want to do is ever so lightly, don't do it dark, ever so lightly, see how I'm trying to emphasize that? Make sure when you're going around this, do it as pale as you can with a white pencil. That's all we're going to use for today is a white pencil. Don't worry about the other colors. And it broke. I had a backup. All right. Oh, good. Very faint, very pale. That's what I want. All right, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna be darkening in only certain areas of this outer line of the bubble. Don't worry if while you're coloring it in, it kind of makes the line a little thicker and uneven. It'll all work out in the end. All right, so I'm gonna do about 4 spots, and I'm gonna try not to get them like this, like the 4 spots that I darken in, I don't want them even. I want them a little off. So I'm going to choose 1 spot over here. I'm marking the spots off ahead of time so that I have a habit of getting things really even. So if I do this, it helps me from getting them too even. All right, so they're not like a plus sign. They're not exactly. These 2 are kind of straight across from each other, but if you put a line through there, these 2 are not. All right, so what you want to start doing is gently darken it in because you know these pencil lids like to break. Gently darken it in and fade out going this way. So darken this in. A little pressure, you have to be careful because the leads do break. A little pressure. And time. You can see I'm staying in the same place, and look how bright that is. You're trying to get that white to be as bright as possible. And by going over and over it again, you're increasing the amount of layers that you have on the paper. Again, you can see how wide that line is. Don't worry about that. It'll, like I said, it'll all work out in the end. Now I'm kind of using this kind of painterly, I'm kind of pushing out from that really bright spot and darkening the line over here and then kind of fading out. And I'm going to do that on the same side. And I just keep coming back and adding more color. You can never get too much white on this to make it bright because these are highlights. It's just going to make it look like a shine, like a reflective shine line. All right, so I'm going to again bring this down, thicken the line, kind of like a painterly, just a long pencil stroke, and let it fade out. And I accidentally got a little line in there. Don't worry. You don't need to erase. Just do your best to not make the mistake I did and get extra lines where you don't want them. So what I'm doing now, I've got that 1 spot in the middle that's really white. I'm gonna do a little bit more, make it a little whiter, increase the darkness of this section, or excuse me, increase the length. I had a small area, now I'm getting it a little bit larger. All right, and I'm gonna again push that out until it fades. And so far it's looking really nice. You can see that really bright white. You can see that how it fades out here. And then you want to keep some of those translucent lines. You don't want to completely color them out. So I'm going to go over here And I'm gonna white. Keep color. Trying not to get too, you need a little pressure to get that white to be strong. But try not to get so much pressure that you break your pencil lead. And again, after I do that, I'm gonna have little short strokes going out to blend it. I'm trying to keep this area kind of translucent. Turn your page if you need to. I find it easier because I can write better if my pencil's aimed towards the left. So I'm turning my paper so that this is on the left for me. All right, so there's my really bright spot, and I'm pulling out so that it fades. And I'm gonna try to keep this area really thin, really pale. I'm gonna try not to get too much white pencil over that because I want a variation of shades. I want really pale translucent, kind of a medium, kind of a dark. All right, I'm gonna pull that out, but I'm gonna stop where that little black dot is. That's almost my marker for where I wanna keep it really thin. Same thing over here. I've got it really dark. Never hurts to add a little extra layers there. And pull out. And same thing here. Take that little spot that we chose, get it really dark, try to keep it thin, try not to let it get too wide. It might help, like I'm used to working with pencils, so I can lay it sideways and still keep it a thin line, but it might help if you hold your pencil straight up to help you keep from getting that line too thick. So get it really thick. I'm widening that really bright area a little and then pulling out towards the other one. All right, so now we gotta do the other side of this really bright area. Again, adding some more color, layer. And pull out. All right, so now I have done all my spots. I really like this one. So I'm gonna go back, and it's wider. I'm gonna widen this really super white area because I feel like it's too small now that I'm looking at it. And I messed up a little and the circle got a little too wide there that you can see where I'm pointing. Don't worry, just try not to do what that mistake that I made. Try to keep it all on the line and keep it thin. It'll all work out in the end. All right, same thing here. I feel like I need to even that out. Like I feel like I got it, like it stops there. There's like a line there. So I'm going to do my best not to widen that line, but to add some extra layers. And sometimes it helps to go back and forth over it like that. Just have to be really careful not to get away from the edge of that line. All right, so basically you're just gonna kind of play with it so that you've got 4 really bright spots, preferably not exactly perfect, you know, plus sign across from each other, a little kind of offset. And you wanna make them even where it's really bright and then kind of medium on either side and then fading out. And you can see this one, I didn't fade out as much in there. I don't have a really super translucent area. Here, and it's these dark areas, we call them opaque. When you cannot see through them, they're opaque. The thinner areas are your translucent. You can see I left a lot of translucent there, which is okay. I want that because now I've got a light, I've got a medium, I've got a dark. Just check your work. Like I really love how bright that spot looks and that spot looks. So I'm gonna go in the middle here and make sure I got that super bright. Layer, 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 layer. Make it, I mean, I know we're working with white, but make it dark. Dark white. All right, so I'm gonna stop here. You can continue on working to get this evened out the way you like it. Once you're done, I'll make sure your name is on the back of your paper. And put your period on it, whether you're first, fourth, or eighth. And then you're gonna turn it in to me and we're gonna work on it some more tomorrow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll continue this tomorrow.